When you're walking down the street and you see a Lamborghini in a rare chance, or you see a Maybach, or you spot a Rolls Royce, what is the inner dialogue? What are you thinking to yourself? Me, I'm thinking that this is a rare car or this is a rare vehicle. I know that it's quite expensive, but it catches my attention because it stands out from the rest. It's not often that I see these type of cars. What would you think if you saw a Toyota Hilux or a Honda Civic? You probably would think that it's a common car. You wouldn't think twice. You wouldn't think to look at the car because it's a car that you always see, or it's a pickup F-150 that you always see. What we notice about behavior is that the more something is saturated, the less value it holds. The less that is saturated, seen, and used, the more value it holds. Now, we know that with these cars that I mentioned, the expensive cars, they come with different parts. They're made different. They're made in foreign countries as it relates to United States. They're European cars, many of them. So when you give so much access of you to people, it kind of goes for granted. You start to get taken for granted. And so what you want to do is you want to become the villain in your life. The villain with a good result, meaning that you need to become the person that says no. Because your success is largely going to depend upon not what you say yes to, but what you say no to. There are many times, and I know if you were to think about this, you know that you have said yes or you agreed to some things begrudgingly. You agreed, like you acquiesced to these things, meaning that you did it. You didn't really want to do it, but you did it, and then things turned out horrible. Or maybe you were helping somebody. How many times have you helped a person you didn't really want to help them, but you helped them, and then they end up being ungrateful? How did that make you feel is the question. So oftentimes we're doing things and we're granting access to us, even though it may be people we love and, you know, all of that type stuff, but we're granting so much access to us that we've got so many different energies affecting who we are that you can't see straight. But when you cut down that access, you start to gain clarity, because that access opens up way for information to get in. So it's like back in the 80s when they had the commercial against, they had a war on drugs. They would say, just say no. You have to have the ability to say no. You're not committing a crime. Many people don't know how to say no. Now, maybe you don't have to say it that way, but you can say it in another way to let people know that you are not available, because right now you are too available. People that pull back access, those are people that earn a lot of respect from others, but they demonstrate self-respect. A self-respecting person wouldn't, unless you're a community worker or you're doing something for the world, they're not going to give so much access. And by the way, you can do things for people and work in the community, but still not be so available. Why? Because when you are so available, it's draining. It's draining because you're constantly, usually when people are reaching out to you, is that they want something. Whether they want advice or whether they want money, they want the most valuable thing, which is still your time and your energy. Those are resources that you can't get back, which is why these are two resources that you have to protect with your entire essence. These are things that we give away too much, because if I were to look under the hood, I would know a lot about your life based upon where you invest your time and energy. There's a energetic trail. You know how they say there's a paper trail? When a finance officer or a financial advisor, when they're looking for something or somebody's checking for taxes, there's a paper trail. When the IRS wants to get you, there's a paper trail. Okay, where did you spend this money? There's an energetic trail that you leave every day in all that you do. And all we have to do is follow that energetic trail to know what changes that we have to make. If your energy trail is towards, look, I'm studying, I'm working, I'm spending time with my family, those are the things that are usually going to benefit the most, wherever it is that you put your energy. But we can tell. But if you put your time on, okay, you're hanging out here, you're hanging out there, you can then examine that and say, well, my energy needs to go here. This is why I'm falling behind in this part of life. So when you pull back the access, you can really start to grow and you can pay attention, and then you can direct that energy to where you want to direct that energy. This is the thing, because people want access to your mind. I hope you know that. People, even though they don't say it subconsciously, we want access to each other's mind. Why? Because people like to manipulate. I know that sounds like a negative thing, but people want things to be their way. So they want control of you. When somebody calls you, hey, what you doing? What's up? What are the things that they ask you? These are the questions that they ask you. Now, of course, not being drastic, but I'm making a simple point that people typically want access to your mind. Why is it that they call the thing that you watch on TV, the thing that you may watch every Tuesday or every Wednesday, why do they call that television programming? Because they're using access to your mind to give you a message that they want you to believe and they want you to carry out. Why? Because repetition of a message constitutes mental programming. So if you're giving you're giving the access of your mind to this television program, you're going to start to think things based upon what it is that you're listening to on the radio or what it is that you're watching. Now, this is not for you to be so far-fetched with it, but this is for you to be aware of it. So when you give access to your mind of people, guess what? To people, you can be programmed by those people. You start to act like them. You start to think like them. And so you want to take back because you want to be in control of your mind. So if you look at people in what we call the headquarters of the matrix in the United States, if you look at people, most people are kind of marching to the same drum. Why? Because of the programming. Okay, you go to school for this amount of years, you do this, you work here, you do that. The access. We gave the access. We went to school. It's like, hey, program me for your system. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't do it. We're all programmed. We all programmed to a degree. But some have broken that programming and risen above that, which is why they look like outcasts. They think for themselves. So they're going to naturally look or be off-putting to others that are in the program that want to execute the program. So when you jump out of line, you're almost like an enemy. When you stop giving access to your mind to people, you become an enemy. It's like enemy of the state. You're an enemy. Think about this. On a major level, when you see people that have powerful voices, whether they're individuals that people say, hey, you better watch what you say because somebody could get you. Why would they say that? Because this particular person or these people are changing or they're waking people up to the way that things are. So they're calling them to the truth. And whoever is doing the mass programming, they don't want that. That's not something that benefits. You're messing up my programming. So what do I have to do? I have to fix that situation by way of doing what? that we've seen this happen over and over and over. So the mind is the most powerful, because with the mind you can change your life. You can improve your life, or you can make your life worse.